Exciting reveal because it's time for the all-new generation of the BMW X3. Everything you need to know, different trims, exterior and interior, different powertrains, up to an M50 with around 400 horsepower. Everything you need to know with Thomas Nautical in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. First of all, starting with the somewhat base level. There's no X-Line anymore. This is already the X-Line base, so to speak. And you might wonder, recently we've shown you the new electric X3, the iX3, in the upcoming generation. And that one is something different now. So they split the platforms, so the all-electric platform on the one hand, and all the others, petrol, diesel and plug-in hybrid, then will be actually the ones we show you right here today. And you can see here, it has this closed front kidney, almost closed at the moment at least. So it does have some adaptive cooling in the lower part, but it's then widely closed, let's take it that way. Optional with illumination, and it's really massive, and that's what I think is really good. It's still a double kidney, not a biva kidney and not a mono kidney and so on. You can still see the differentiation right here. Then you have the silver contrast in the lower part, and this very vehicle color here, which I'm almost wearing today as well, is Arctic Race Blue. I think very beautiful. Also has some different light nuances. If you see this here, like an indentation in the front where you see the traditional BMW logo. LED would be standard. Optional, you also get adaptive matrix LED, you can see it right here, and then they also have these blue accentuations at the side, for example. And when I show you the turning indicators, you can see like this pulsing effect of the indicators. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's a very impressive front here, definitely. Let's move over because there's a more expressive front available here in the M50. So you can get an M Sport package also for a different powertrain, for example. And then the M50, this is then the true M Performance model, also with the respective horsepower under the hood. And you can see here, this is then a blacked out grille in the front, but for that, you either need the M50 or an M Sport package. And if you also want the black frame around the kidney, then you need the M Sport Package Pro, which this vehicle also has. Once again, the iconic glow option around. Of course, especially in the dark, that's working very well to see, hey, this is something new. Different lower bumper than here for the M50 model with more black accentuation. Yeah, just stressing the strength of the horsepower underneath. This is here interesting color is Dune Grey. So it has this kind of beige nuance. It's one of the new colors that is actually available. Towards the side profile, as for the length, not too much changes, 4.76 m or 187 inches, that's 3 centimeters or an inch longer, so more or less the same as for the dimensions. These here are the optional 21-inch wheels. It would range from 18 to 21 maximum. You get 19 with the M Sport Pack, 20-inch with this here with the M50, and then optional can go even bigger. Here you can see also the M badge, and you've maybe also seen already here in this side profile, it is also a massive design change here because there are no separated wheel arches with a plastic cladding or something. This is what BMW describes as a more monolithic design because you have less different elements all around the vehicle. So the design has become, let's say, a little bit more simple on the one hand, but usually a simple design means also that it's good. Not sure, by the way, if you've noticed here, the side mirrors for the M50 are different. They have this arrow effect right here. So aero, I think A-E-R-O, aero, aerodynamic effect. So this is a specific thing then for the M50 or the M Sportback. In the rear, also a massive design change. So indeed, this generation shift completely redesigns the X3. Even more visible here, the more three-dimensional sculptural tail lamps. Also here with this, extensive work at the rear part. Yeah, very interesting. What do you think about it? Leave me some comments. And the most visible change here, you can see the number plate went down actually into this lower area here. So this top area is way more present. And since this is then the M50 model, we have more black contrast in the lower part with this diffuser kind of styling. And this is also the only model that has visible exhaust pipes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are massive and they are for real. So there is no job for the Autogefühl fake exhaust police here today. because the non-M performance model, the normal styling, will not have visible exhaust pipes at all, and also no fake exhaust. So here you can see the side profile then of this, in this case then the plug-in hybrid model, but a normal other base model would also look like that actually. Here, this is also in the base side around the window. This is a very good quality here, you know. See here, this also when you feel it, is this the bright styling in the lower part. Then it has this arrow shape like here, it's the Hofmeister kink or like a heritage design element, and the top part then is black. And if you might remember, if we go back to this vehicle here there was everything in black out, so the whole frames around is black, but once again, no black wheel arches, and I think it works very well with the vehicle. Here with the plug-in hybrid, we have the recharging port, the AC recharging port, 11 kilowatt AC in the front here, by the way. There we go, DC charging is not being offered, but I can already tell you so far the most important aspect about the plug-in hybrid will be that the battery capacity is doubled, now at 20.4 kilowatt hours net. And yeah, this will of course translate into a bigger electric range. Yeah, I cannot say like something, you know, very realistic because I need to drive it first, but my estimation would be maybe something 80 kilometers, 50 miles, that's I think a realistic value. In the rear here, because this vehicle is now a little bit darker here in this studio, we can even better see the LED then in the lamp. This is signature. 30E would be the plug-in hybrid. And once again, you can see that in the lower part it's very clean. Here we have then the silver contrast, like, you know, it was known as the X-Line. I think it works very, very well. So very rare where we see vehicles that have changed in such an extensive manner, but I think it works very well. I like the X3 before the previous generation, but I like this one as well. So what do you think? Do you like the previous more or this one? Tell me in the comments. And about the change, you know, Leah and I always argue a little bit about the M Sport package, you know, with the sporty looks. I'm more like in this elegant direction. I like it the way it is, like here. And Leah is more about the sporty stylings always when it comes to vegan. She would definitely say like, has to be this one, big wheels, black, everything around. Yeah, that's you can maybe also argue with that at home then. Coming to the interior, but just before we open the door, let me quickly talk about the suspension. You get actually 4 different kinds of them. Standard suspension, a fixed M sport suspension, then 2 adaptive suspension, 1 normal and 1 M sport suspension, which then also has like a sportier application. This is in this case a real adaptive suspension. We know with some compact vehicles, BMW sometimes calls it adaptive, but it's just frequency adaptive and the driving mode doesn't change. For example, with the X1. Here with the X3, indeed, when you change the driving mode, for example to sport, the suspension gets a little bit stiffer, and that's what I call a real adaptive suspension. You know, so when you read something like that in the prices, better go to our channel and listen to what we say about the suspension, then you know if it's a real adaptive suspension or not. So here, definitely one. They do not offer air suspension nor rear axis steering because I say they don't need it. And from the previous generation, I know suspension-wise, I can agree the adaptive suspension usually does a great job that you do not miss an air suspension. Then let's take a look at the interior because everything has been redesigned there majorly. Here, first of all, inside of the doors, this is here hard pack. Wait a minute, no, it's not actually. So it's, I would say widely hard pack. When you press a little bit harder, then you can also press it a little bit in. That's there. Here is a little bit softer actually. One thing we have to talk about is the inside of the door pockets because I usually like it more when you have felt on the inside. They haven't been paying attention to that recently. I have already told them that that might be something to consider also according to your comments, because I like it when you put stuff in there that they don't fly around. But what I really like is this new ambient lighting concept. Look at that. Here you see this transition in the colors. Different colors are available and it begins here at the inside of the door. Soon more to that. And then this here is not the final stage of the vehicle, but it's very interesting that you can here increase the vent strength of the side vent. You can soon show that to you, and it's like with touch here. Here you can see, by the way, it also has some of these welcoming signatures, here, animations. This is then the door handle from the inside. This also might be met at some point when the customer gets the vehicle, so it's not the 100% final material what we can see right here at the inside of the doors. And this is then the side vent, which is then controlled with this touch field. So yeah, it's a very interesting idea. And new steering wheel, we know it from the iX and the BMW 5 Series. And this is also animal free. This is a high-grade leatherette, and to my opinion, it's not only, better for the animals or for the environment, but also feels really nicely. This is actually quite cool. Also has this open spoke form. Left side for the cruise control. And we know that recently when you hold the set button, you can also deactivate this EU speed limited chime. On the right side then you control, for example, the digital instruments, and this is also a mix in still of real buttons and these fields which are just on one button. These are also completely new seats. It's called Econeer. And these are fabric seats. It's a very interesting structure here, for example, then in grey. It looks really cool, actually, and also feels really nice. I would expect that it's also kind of breathable because it has this deep structure, which you can also feel. This would actually be standard, but if you want a slick surface, you can also get that. I'll soon show you the alternatives. These here also would be 100% from recycling materials, so this has the lowest CO2 output at the same time. Feels nice, and also sometimes you might think that some fabric seats might, especially here when you have like a suit or something, that you don't slide on it. But actually the surface is a little bit slick that you can easily slide also a little bit when you have when you have suit trousers on. So that's really nice, very comfortable. And with 189 or 6'2", I still have enough headroom left. The panoramic roof concept here, you can see, is a fixed one, which you can only close the cover here. It is massively wide and long. Wow, look at that. Did I just say that? So this is, wow, there we go. Yeah, Leah wants to come around. I'll just open the door for her. There we go. Yeah, so now I have closed the shade. Yeah, that takes a while indeed. There we go. I'm usually a fan of fixed roofs or something you can open. Then again, my guy at the workshop says, in general, yeah, go for a convertible or go for a fixed roof. Yeah, there are a lot of opinions about that, definitely. But it's impressive that it goes all the way across the vehicle. And this is here now then the new cockpit view. This is here also somewhat soft touch here. This is, by the way, first through material. Some guys always scratch it here a little bit, but this will of course be fully clean for the customer. You can also touch it in. Then this curved display. This is the infotainment system. Left side second screen for the digital instruments. This also looks really clean. And the lower part, wow, look at that. This is the new ambient lighting integration. I really like that. This is also standard, actually. You can also change the colors. Then you have this X3 embossed in the middle part. The cup holders here are indeed adaptive also. And for your smartphone, the left side here is an inductive charging pad. And it also has a cooling hole. There it is. That's like a, like a small opening for cooling. 2 USB-C chargers next to it. The right side you can put another smartphone, but yeah, unfortunately this is then not an inductive charging, so only on the left side. Integrated shifting lever right here, and you can still control the display from below. So BMW customers really appreciate it. Then this middle console, also soft. When you put it up, then the cool thing is here like this, it moves, and then here there's like a resistance, and then it stays up. There's reasonable space underneath. The materials in very down there, they are not final. This is a pre-production model, so these will also be upgraded then from the materials on the inside. And then let's see, glove box. There's a new opening here. This is like a pressing here. Oh, look at that, it's tiny. Oh, sweet. Yeah, not too much space, but at least it's properly dampened right here, and the whole console is actually really large. But overall, it feels, a little bit futuristic, but not too much futuristic. And I think that's actually very important. In the infotainment system, you can see, yeah, the thing that I usually prefer is when I can turn and press something for the AC, but that's actually not possible in the new BMW systems here. It's all here, but at least it stays in this area, and then you can get somewhat used to it. Here you press it once, and then you can have, for example, the seat heating like this, and then you have the main menu right here. Sometimes it's a little bit overloaded, but you can also go to like a custom main menu, and then you can individualize that for yourself. This is then the newest software status also, and yeah, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is of course also possible. And the cool thing is that Apple Maps with CarPlay and when you have Google Maps with Android Auto can also be transported then here to the digital instruments on the left. And we also have a head-up display, key fobs, standard, or then here M Sport or the M50. So with the M colors, which one do you think is better? The M colors are nice, but then again, I usually prefer it here that when you have matte and not high gloss actually here. So yeah, tell me in the comments. Then once again, the door handles, they are flush in a way, but still have like this real feedback. And then dog closing sound once again. It's really solid. I like that. Special extra is that you have fabric at the inside of the doors, so this is not necessarily connected here to the M50, and there's also fabric at the dashboard here, for example. So this is a matter of preference. I like both. I like the slick version, but I also like this one. This has more, let's say, the living room atmosphere, and also the ambient lighting is different here, for example, than in the red M colors. Looks also very impressive, doesn't it? And since this is then here the M50 version, you would have similar stuff with the M Sport package then. You get a different steering wheel, different form, control switches on the inside. The only downside is this is here an animal skin material, so they split it a little bit yet. I'm not sure what's the reason behind it, because the new material is also just fine. However, the seats, these are also the animal-free seats. So better for the animals, also more sustainable in the CO2 output and so on. Available here in brown, but also in a brighter styling and also in black. And the perforation is not only passively breathable, but also active seat cooling is available. You can spec the seat with that, also in all markets. Standard for the M Sport and the M50 would, by the way, not be completely the slick surface, but Alcantara then on the inside and outside leatherette. Also very soft, look at that. The so-called Einsitzhöhe, Deutsch, listen and repeat, Einsitzhöhe, is like how soft the top part of the seat is. And that is actually then giving you the main comfort aspect of it. So this works very well, also getting in and out. And yeah, they are really comfortable. They still offer, however, an optional animal skin spec. I don't like that they do that, but yeah, this is still, I mean, in general, a huge step forward already for BMW in general. And then here, headroom, still the same. Of course, this is also the one with the panoramic roof. Steering wheel, manual, up and down, in and out. This M version, this M steering wheel, also has then these special shifting levers here, left and right. And I wanted to test it, some of the colors in the ambient lighting, because you can change it. Oh, can you deactivate and activate again? Then you can see. Ooh, look at that. Ah, nice.
And now my favorite color.
Your favorite color? Oh, there we go.
Flamingo or rosé?
Flamingo or rosé? Does it have? No, it
Yeah.
has it. Rosé. It's called rosé. Okay. That's cool.
Papaya.
Papaya. Peel the papaya.
Ooh,
It's also nice, you're right. You can see it's always at the inside of the doors and also then in the lower tunnel. Yeah, that's actually cool here. Look at that in the inside of the doors. There we go. Also nice animation, you know. Which color would you go for? Thomas Blue, definitely, yeah. That also fits you very well. And here, when you put the hazard lights, there we go. It's also this effect we know from the 7 Series and the 5 Series. Yeah, maybe once again, and then you can see it here at the inside of the doors. There we go. So you have this, yeah, very cool hazard lights effect as well. And here in the cockpit, look at that. It looks really different than with the fabric covering here of the dashboard. As I said, I like both indeed. And this is pretty cool here, the transition of the M colors in the middle console. And sometimes then you have this welcoming effect and it, you know, changes the color a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty fancy. And yeah, I mean, definitely both versions work very well. It feels kind of spacious also in the front. Difference to the X1. I really say that with this generation, the difference is even larger. Not in a way of that you can say like, hey, this is good, this is bad or something. It's just that they feel very, very different now. You know, the X1 definitely feels smaller, especially like here in the front cockpit area. This one here, because the windscreen is kind of shallow, I would say, rather small. It's also flatter and so on. this area feels really large, you know, to look out. So the X1 is better to control as for the visibility, especially to the front. This one here, like has a massive front, and here you almost feel like you would like to put the seat a little bit higher for that. Door closing sound, very solid. Rear, yeah, also sounds nice. So good door closing sound. Yeah, we should not forget this. On paper, you have a little bit more legroom. You can see here, this works. It's very dark. So here it works here with my knees. So I still have like some space in front of my knees left. And headroom, well, it's the panoramic roof, you know, but also to the side, it's a little bit left with 189 or 6 for 2. And then you have these shades here at the side. That works very well. Manual. Also the nice Econeer fabric seats in. But as I said, there are also other choices available. In the middle part, you could fold this here down. Also adaptive cup holders, like that here from the build quality, definitely. And you can also fold this whole thing down. As for, there we go, the ski hatch. And these are some holders here for, you know, rear seat entertainment. And in the lower part, you have a separate climate unit then. There we go, for the rear passengers. They can also change like where the vent is coming from, and 2 more USB-C chargers. There is a middle tunnel present here. All X3 do have all-wheel drive. There's no rear-wheel drive version available whatsoever. It's really about matter of preference. As for the seating materials, both are actually fine. And then you can see it's also then here with this perforation here and very soft, good quality. By the way, if you wonder about the durability, I've been in the BMW testing facilities as well, and they always test the materials that they always basically fulfill the very same quality and also the long-term durability standards, so there won't be any difference as for that. So tell me in the comments if you prefer this M Sport interior or the base interior. And then we can also compare, because this is here the plug-in hybrid. Soon we give you more details about the powertrains. And what's really cool here, look at that, the hatch, look at that. I mean, look at how the space is like here. So this form on the exterior also reflects on the interior, that you have, you have such an open space to access the trunk here. That is astonishing. Yeah, Leah's always making fun of me when I'm doing the car reviews, and there are some very normal things, and I was like, oh, I'm totally into it. And she's like, this is such a car nerd, you know, like, yeah. Then you can see here the plug-in hybrid. It raises a little bit. So this is a little bit higher in the plug-in hybrid version. That's the only difference actually. Underneath then there is no space left, because here, you can see here, there's, you know, there's nothing left underneath there, and it will be different than in the complete combustion engine setup. So we had 460 liters in the plug-in hybrid, 570 liters in the combustion engine version, because we have a little bit more space underneath. You can see there is no step that goes on like this. So all US versions will also look like that. And look at this, the space, the width between the wheel arches is like 1 meter and 10 or 43 inches. That's astonishing. So very wide indeed. And the length is almost 95 centimeters or 39 inches. And the height, also important, almost 75 centimeters or 29 inches. So very good dimensions. And underneath here, there you can see there is then space, for example, also for a spare tire. So this is then the main difference then here. The top cover, like this, is actually pretty massive. This, you know, this whole grab handle here, like this, you can also put that out. You can also easily reach, because it's so well accessible, you can also reach over and then fold the seats from here, so that then you don't have to go around. So this is easily also possible then here. And the total length to the front seats, as we would be driving as tall persons, it's like almost 175 millimeters or 68 inches. So here we start with the top version. So the M50 is the M Performance model. There might be a true M model at some stage later. Again, we'll see about that. However, it becomes, you know, like pure combustion engine high performance cars become more and more unrealistic because of the regulations, and they actually will be very expensive for the manufacturer to offer them still. I remember BMW is always that you pull the hood twice and then it actually opens. So one more time. There we go. And that's actually the easier system, because you don't have to search something underneath there and so on. There we go. 3-liter 6-cylinder. By the way, this here the battery charger for the studio when we have the lights on all day. So this here the famous 3-liter inline 6-cylinder. almost 400 horsepower, it's like 398, so I say 400 horsepower, and 4.6 seconds is the acceleration figure. All-wheel drive standard, always with a rear-wheel bias, so somewhat like 40-60 in the base setup. So this is then so far the quickest engine here overall. There will also be 2-liter 4-cylinder pure petrol engines, and also on the diesel side, 2-liter 4-cylinder and 3-liter 6-cylinder, the latter one coming a little bit later. Also, we have in our pinned comment and in the video description, there's an extensive list of all engines that are available so far with all the numbers, horsepower figures, and also the acceleration figures, actually everything we've got. The plug-in hybrid drivetrain, it will not be available in the US so far because they say there has been no demand. Customers say they're just happy with the available powertrains. As I said, double the battery size, 20.4 kilowatt hour. And this one here, you can also see it in the visualization here. This is based on a 2-liter 4-cylinder, so sadly no 3-cylinder plug-in hybrid that you do get in the BMW X5. Considering the segment, I think it's still okay to go for this choice then here. And this is also actually quite quick because it reaches kind of like almost like a 300 horsepower. So this will then be, due to the extra electric boost, be a little bit quicker than most pure petrol engines. So for example, as I said, the exact specs are also in the pinned comment in the video description. So that's once again the split, plug-in hybrid, petrol and diesel for the all-new X3. And the pure iX3, pure electric one, will be then on this Neue Klasse platform, which will be totally separated. It's also an interesting view here, right, when both hoods are open. Oh, here, there you can see, by the way, when you do not have the illuminated double kidney, because here at the moment it's out. There we go. So here at the moment it's out, and there it's on. There you can also then see the difference. There we go. Would you go for this option actually to have it illuminated? I think especially like when riding at night, it looks really cool, doesn't it? Then as for the pricing, so I already have like the German price. Oh, I have to go a little bit because of the light, right? Yeah. Thank you, Leah, for the note. So pricing is around 60,000 euros without extras for an entry-level model. Then, yeah, the plug-in hybrid will be some like in the mid-range, and this one here goes then, yeah, more into the 80s something euros. If you then spec some extras with it, you can reach with fully spec M50 maybe some 90,000 euros. But yeah, that's of course very expensive, but the competitors are in the same price regions as well. The good thing actually is that even the standard equipment is more extensive. So even if you would say, hey, I don't need all the extras, don't need panoramic roof, I don't need 21-inch wheels, maybe also reduce the comfort and so on. So a base X3 will get you everything covered already. So when you pick this vehicle here and maybe take the base wheels and also no panoramic roof and so on, you're still fine because the base features and the comfort and so on is still there. So I think with this new generation, you can also very well live with less extras than before and just enjoy more of the standard equipment. And if you wonder where the all-new X3 is built, same plants, US in Spartanburg, all the combustion engine models, and also still in South Africa. And the logistic thing is that the plug-in hybrid model is now exclusively built in South Africa. The reason behind that is that the plug-in is not being offered in the US, so there would be like also like a long transport way and so on. So they supply all the US market with the Spartanburg vehicles, and then, you know, more to the Europe side than from South Africa with the plug-in hybrid. But of course, if you buy petrol like the M50 in Europe, it will also come from Spartanburg. And towing 2.5 tons for the pure combustion engine models, 2 tons for the plug-in hybrid model. Yeah, and of course, we should also compare one of the main competitors, the Mercedes GLC. We also had it in a comparison to the previous generation X3, if you're also thinking about that.